Well, now that we're all here, let's get back to where we last left off.
Did I miss intros, or are we doing intros?
We're doing intros right now.
Okay.
Okay.
And yes, and who you're hearing right now is Davwyn playing Paarth.
Oh.
Our little pseudo friend.
I am not a pseudo friend. I am a friend. I'm just a super
Anyway.
Frankie.
Anyway, to those of you who are uncertain as to where we left off, here's a review for y'all. The party, taking its opportunity to dungeon dive a bit more into the Red Band ruffian hideout, encountered some monstrosities across a acre lake within a cavern. As they made their way to descend further, there was a bit of a two-way that had some confusion of what exactly was in the rooms because I wasn't paying attention. But there was also some sort of means of, how do I put it? There's a bit of a odd encounter as a familiar friend of Paarth's, known as Clovis, was seen down here, and as the conversation turned a bit more aggressive, the tone of Clovis changed from what was like antagonistic to laughter. As just his, as what looked like it was just like a poker face reveals the what is truly beneath as a blank expression looks directly at you, Vladimir, of man, you really do look exactly like him.
Yes, I do get that quite a bit as of late.
So, I assume you have questions. Of course.
You assume correctly.
Well, then you know as far as anyone else. Guess I'm not the luckiest person in this situation, so my charade is up. What would you like to know about yourself? Or himself? Yours self. That's a weird pronoun. As he just kind of thinks of like, now he's like not certain how to throw pronouns this way.
I suppose the best way to put it would be the other me's, I guess.
We'll go with that for now. I'll think of a subtitle later.
Okay, so tell me, what is it you know about these other doppelgangers, seeing as I have been told consistently that I am, as I have stated, defect of defects.
Yeah, that's a fun title, isn't it?
It's starting to grow on me a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
Makes a very confused little noise towards Clovis.
Oh, don't worry, Paarth. This is confusing for a lot of people. Trust me. And as he kind of just like leans on the table in like a kind of like a comfortable position, it's like I would give you information, but you know, in the trade there's a thing known as supply and demand. I supply you with the questions you're asking, since there's really no, like, I've got nothing to lose. But I need something from you.
Go on.
Have you heard of the Glass Staff?
Actually, we did hear about that not too long ago.
He's a good friend of mine. We used to work in the Lord's Allegiance together. As I bounced around between the Harpers and the Lord's Alliance, I met him through there. And He's here in this very dungeon at this time. You let him get out of here scot-free, and I'll let you know all the information you need.
Do we have any background information on this glass staff character?
Yes, you do. The guy that you interrogated and gave a pretty nasty headache towards through investigation, which, guys, if you haven't seen that, it's two sessions prior, I think. So give it a good watch. Anyway, after my spoiled plug, you do recall that the glass staff is the title of an individual who actually is the primary leader of the Red Band Ruffians.
You mean that other Volpine?
No, this is a different individual.
Ah.
Much higher up the food chain.
Yeah, from your understanding is that when you interrogated those people near the beginning of the hideout, they said that the glass staff, which is easily identified as a slim man who wields a staff of glass, is the leader of the Red Band Ruffians.
There.
Letting him go away scot-free. What is it you intend to do? Just out of curiosity.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, when the GM decides to make a break for it in the opposite direction, there's no concern there.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, stand by, everyone, while we see if...
Oh,
there we go.
You okay now?
Did you fall off your cloud?
For some reason, Discord just decided to turn off on me. So,
Wonderful. Thank you, Discord.
Oh, the forced updates. Gotta love them.
yep, forced update. Yay! Anyway,
Before you were rudely interrupted.
yeah, and now my freaking
Yes.
PNG is all acting up because of that. So, freaking thank you, Discord.
You look good on our end, or at least mine.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's loading up on my end right now. So, but anyway, I'll just turn that off for a moment.
Just repeat the last thing you said, Aeros.
There we
So the last thing that was stated was, so you want us to let the glass staff go away scot-free. With your statement of that he is a good friend of yours, what is it you intend to do? Do you intend to try and sway him away from these kinds of things, or what? This is just out of curiosity more than anything.
That is not of your concern. Though I will say, in this regard, I can assure you that this town of Phandalin, it's not going to be bothered by the ruffians anymore. You know, as an old druidic saying as they go, sometimes it is better to strike at the head of a viper before allowing its toxins to sink into anyone.
Paarth tilts his head back and forth, looking puzzled as ever, then looks at Clovis, briefly pawing at his guild charm, and then looking at the others, and then back again, trying to figure out whether or not this is guild business or not.
It's kind of hard to tell. If you want to give like an insight check to see, or rather like a history check or so, then you can go ahead and try for it.
This is Paarth more trying to gesture to Clovis's confusion.
Oh, okay. Okay, my friggin' whatever. My Fuji's not even talking anymore. Whatever.
Aw.
You know, like looking at Clovis and pawing at the guild charm on him, going guild thing, right?
Oh, no, it's not part of business.
Paarth gives a slow, confused blink as a response, but doesn't know how else to digest this information.
No, if only you knew more. But alas, that's not my business to tell of, unfortunately. So, do we have a deal?
There.
At that point, Vladimir kind of tilts his head around to look around Clovis to Valkin.
There. Valkin gives a slight nod. Very. And looking into Nenewza to see if she agrees. Or, sorry, to.
Norelor.
To Norelor, and to see if she agrees.
She does a gentle thumbs up to Vlad.
In the meantime,
And Valkin.
Paarth begins to settle a little bit on Clovis's shoulders, seeming to finally start to settle down a little bit because he begins to lay down partially.
Clovis will gently
So-
pat your head.
At that point, Vladimir's just going to ponder for a second. He goes, well, seeing as what is transgressed, I suppose... Well, everybody has... We're all in agreement on this. But I would like to point out that we both know that in midst of battles, sometimes people may get scuffed from splash. I mean, I got smacked in the face by door and left a scar across my face.
So, the agreement is this. We will not intentionally try to harm or waylay this glass staff as he exits this building. And you will give a free flow of information, answering everything as honestly as you can.
Sounds like we have a deal then. As you see that he gestures his open hand out as a sign of a handshake in agreement.
Towards which one?
It's his open hand. So because I think because Paarth is basically just kind of resting up on him and he's petting with that one hand.
So, and there, let's see, that would probably be more towards you, Vladimir.
So, at that point, Vladimir extends his paw out to gently grasp and shake.
It's good to know that you're a bit more reasonable than he is, but as he kind of pulls back a little bit from the handshake, after firmly grasping it.
Firmly grasp it. Anyways.
All that is really said is just, Yarno, we're free to go. And with a snap of a finger, you do see that... oh, goddamn, they got stuck under the fucking neath. What the fuck? I hate those.
That was a sudden break from character.
No, I just... the models, they're in a different location. I can't reach them, so I'm just like, god damn it, you fucking shit. Is this revealed at all? Or...
Draw a circle over them and then shift-click to teleport them?
I can't because they're hidden. But usually it would let me click on them anyway. Here, let me just do this quickly instead.
By the way, I threw you a small detail in the sidebar. I'm pretty sure that you know, but just making sure.
Oh, I know about that, yeah.
Yeah, thought so.
Okay. So, there we go. Okay, now I got him. AK, I'm downloading another figure just to... So in the doorway of the other room, you see what looks to be a hooded figure of looks to be like dark red and black robes, holding a staff that looks entirely out of a sort of glass-like figure. He's not really revealing his face, but he does give a gentle nod of thank you for allowing me to, how do I say, redeem myself.
Hey, were you the one with the rat? The familiar that was spying on us?
Could you restate your question there? I think the mic got a little bit too close and it ate your words.
Okay, so the rat familiar that was spying on us, that was yours?
Yes, my poor, I can't believe you would take a life of my poor rat, though, but I can summon him later.
The party
He
didn't.
just-
He put a pot over it.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
just
did not take his life.
we just put a pot over it, and that was it.
How is he supposed to rummage free now because of that? Like, give me the pot.
You desummoned him when he was in the pot.
Oh yes, that's right. I have not had the best of sleep going on. But since you are willing to let me go free, and my gentleman, referring to Clovis, you are more than free to any of my studies in my room, as he gestures towards the room he was just leaving from. This should give you plenty of information.
Paarth makes a little curious scrack noise and then looks towards the door where we know that there's other hostiles back there.
Oh, them? They're just partying. There's no need to worry about them. My most loyal. They do tend to party a lot. It's aggravating at points. I can never get anything done, but they are efficient. At least they were the efficient.
And just what is it that you're trying to get done?
Well, I do a lot of studies, as you can see in here. And one of my general studies was just practicing my craft. Knowing how to make different potions, as he pulls out from his robe a clear, what looks to be like water-like potion. As it's very obvious to tell that it is very similar towards the potion that you guys received in the satchel.
That's
As a potion of, potion of invisibility. It's like, I tend to make a lot of these just in case an escape is needed, but I guess now is not the necessary time for it. But if you were referring to my work as the ruffian, we were just simply looking to set up base somewhere, but no more. The people of this town have suffered from us long enough.
I'm glad you think so.
So at this point, I do believe one important question is on the rest of our minds. Well, I suppose two. One, does the rest of your men know that you're leaving?
I have not made it public, but we did just strike a deal about this, so I doubt that would be anything of hindrance. Once they know that there's not a leader around, they'll scurry like mice.
And secondly, seeing as we are this far down into the keep, or dungeon, or manor, basement, whatever we want to call it, what are we to do with the rest of the men that are here? Should we just let them be? Try to get them, try and scare them away, or what?
It would be of ill manner if you did try to hostilely deal with them, though you don't necessarily have to interact with them in general. This is business between us, and like I said, as soon as they know that I'm gone, they'll be gone as well.
And just how sure are you of this? It is quite
I-
possible that if you do not leave instructions to meet up somewhere, that one of them will say, "Our leader is gone. I am leader now. I want the town for myself."
My fellow guest, I deal with bandits.
And so
They
you
will
give them-
know when to scurry.
And there. So you will ensure that your word of the town will remain unharmed any further. This will take place.
My word is just.
Now, will. We'll be watching. If your men scurry off, then, without further attacking us or the people of this place, or causing this further destruction, then I see no reason why we cannot just watch them walk away.
So you're suggesting just to walk them out, pretty much?
Sort of, and they're a bit more passive in some senses.
Basically, the idea would be to watch over the town and see what happens in that next morning to see if they actually do scurry off.
You're more than free to watch over the town if need be. I know that if I were there, some fear would probably be in play and mislead you to believe that our pact was a lie. But if you, brave guest, came back from this manor and nothing occurs, they would trust you. I doubt no less.
Hmm.
So, well, some of them were being strong-armed, correct? So we wouldn't necessarily need to kill them all to get them to stop. And
Any form of strong arming is of no more at this time. Any debts and payments that can be provided back, they'll be down here in the manor, or rather, upstairs, as we'll put them away.
Mhm.
Very
Any at
good.
least that were stolen.
Good.
Paarth kind of looks between the hooded figure and Clovis, kind of expecting some kind of reassurance.
The glass staff does nod towards Clovis, and Clovis does nod back, assuring that there is an agreement upon these terms.
Paarth just continues to sit there, though does look partially confused and partially still not quite at ease. AKA, he is not loafing.
Now, there is something that you have conveniently danced around. What is it that you are trying to do?
we're told they were trying to take over the town. I believe that was the end of it between you and the other Vlad had Steel.
my business is not with that vulpine. At least not anymore. As he kind of takes like a rather, how do I put it? Like, he looks towards you, Vladimir, with like a bit. You can even like if it's hard to see like his face, hit his mouth itself shows a little bit of aggression. Like he's trying not to like snarl, but it's a little bit's peeking out.
Just how much of that would be? I'd like to try and figure out how much of that is frustration there versus anger or some other emotion towards the other Vladimir.
Yeah, go ahead and roll insight.
So
Here's D20 plus 2.
seeing the guy kind of try to hide the slight snarl towards Vlad, Vladimir just kind of scratches the back of his head a little bit. He goes, "Look, I know I look almost very similar, I should say, to the one that you have been dealing with. And to be quite honest, it's already happened a couple of times that I have been confused for that one. But clearly, this particular one that you had, past tense, dealings with, apparently he does not do well with working with. He didn't do well with working with. Common is such a hard language to try and get down.
Working with others?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Let's just say he hasn't been the friendliest person I've done a contract with, but anyway, will you please let me go ahead and disband my men before I go? Also, on your insight, Vlad, it's you can see that
that would be Valkin.
Oh, Valkin, my bad. Yeah, Valkin. You can just tell there's a general bit of frustration. It's hard to tell if it's exactly pinpointed towards a particular person. You can just tell that there is frustration on his mind at this point.
Gotcha.
Well, so long as we can stop the threat to the town, I'm happy. Why would you guys?
That sounds in keeping within the deal.
It's just a little from Paarth.
Yeah. The glass stuff will take a step forward and just kind of go towards you, Vulcan's like, it's rude for me to ask a guest to open a door for me, but
There. I do open the door and take the opportunity to take a very close look at him as he is passing.
Okay.
Basically trying to study every detail I can.
You gotta move out of the way.
Yeah, 1 second here.
Yeah, you might want to clear your die. It's kind of blocking your way.
Yeah, hang on.
Get out of here.
Go. Shoot.
Get the fuck out.
Die.
Oh, I don't want that. There we go.
Why won't you die? It's a nanomachine, son. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get you a good description.
For that matter, do you want me to roll for Paarth to just get the guy's smell?
You're able to get like at least a decent like scent off of him, you know? Like without even needing to roll. Like, are you trying to use it to like track him or something like that, or like?
Just to commit it to memory, so if I smell it again when I'm doing a future I forget what this game calls it. You know, perception checks, investigation checks is what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So actually, as you smell him, he smells of like he's very familiar in his scent, and only like you and like Valkin would be able to smell of it. He smells very clean, but like in a very particularly odd manner. For you, Paarth, you'd be able to immediately identify it as there is a certain plant that you are familiar with in the Summer Court wilds, aka like the Summer Court, like a forest.
The Fae, yeah.
Yeah, and that's particularly where like you love to roam around with. There is a collection of plants that you would roll around in, and essentially it would help clean you, and it would give off a particular smell. One that's kind of like a mix of like a light cinnamon, but like a peppermint in addition. You're able to identify that right away. That, like, did he roll around in that plant? Like, but for you, Vulcan, it would just be he smells of cinnamon and pepper, and his hood is more of like a deep cowl. So it's kind of hard to get any sort of detail. You just can tell by the way of his clothing that he's a pretty slim guy. He does have like a concealed beard. That's not like too far down. It's kind of like chops a little bit. And you can just kind of tell like as he walks past, he walks like pretty upright for his stature, like definitely something that's a bit different than the rest of the ruffians around here.
So he kind of walks a little bit like a royal or something of that nature.
Yeah, he you can tell like by at least the way he's walking that he's been around nobility before, and so he knows how to do the walk, you know, like the professional walk.
Yeah. Is it a walk of basically practiced grace from childhood, or a walk that is more adopted later on, like, you know, extremely stiff-backed, and like they came into us and they are, and now I am here and I have power and you shall respect me?
He it looks like it's been practiced since birth.
So the whole bouncing books on head thing?
Yes, very much so. And as he does kind of make his way through the doorway, he's just like I said, you're more than free to make yourselves home. Good day, my great gentleman, as he goes to close the door behind him.
Right. I take my position up again in front of the door.
Well, Clovis says, how about we make ourselves a bit more comfortable in the other room?
There. Perhaps. Let us.
Your character sheet is covering the screen.
Oh, I think he's finding this stream.
In your stream, your character sheet's covering the screen.
It is a little bit there. Let me resize it slightly.
Oh no! Chat, don't see my stats.
I mean, it's supposed to be there.
We're supposed to see a character sheet in the bottom right corner of your stream?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the little feature. Yeah, they're on my stream.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So, but it wasn't quite supposed to be covering up the game window quite that much.
Right. But as you cover your game window, Clovis is going to go ahead and just... Oh, hello.
You're
There you
you're
go.
stuck on the table.
I am stuck on the table. He is going to just kind of make his way into the office. And he is going to just pretty much just set himself up on the bed. It's like there's not much room since it's a one person sort of thing, but you know, it's comfortable. And I have a little bit of detail to provide y'all, so give me one moment. The walls of this, as you enter into this bed chamber, the walls of it are covered with drapes of scarlet cloth. The furnishings include a small writing desk with a matching chair, a comfortable looking bed, and a wooden chest at the foot of the bed. So, any questions you have for me?
Is Clovis sitting on the bed or what?
He's sitting on the bed. There's not like a sit animation that I have for him, so
Nonetheless, it's just so that Paarth can act accordingly.
Yeah.
Once Clovis is sitting down, Paarth slips down into his lap.
Sounds good.
Perhaps the first question. Are there any traps or anything of that nature in this room?
In this room, not that I know of.
Very well. And we will address the others before leaving. The other rooms before leaving this one.
Sounds good. But I feel like you weren't wanting to specifically ask me about traps, though. As he looks towards Vladimir, and then the rest of y'all.
Not at all. And simply the first question.
Well,
Paarth
what
kinda
is your
looks
next
to-
one?
Paarth kind of looks towards Vlad questioningly.
So, tell me what you know. Well, I would like to know what you know about all of these other doppelgangers, including Original.
I think you may have it a bit confused.
I might. This whole thing has been very confusing to me.
He takes out this personal notepad and he flips open a couple pages for it. And he says the following as he kind of reads off from it. I was born to be a guard, a soldier, a tool fit to be used by my noble's hand. I could either hammer a nail in or crack a skull, so long as it was his hand to use. It was my order. Those ring true as the noble's oath within Valkin's family. Valkin, you would immediately understand this as you've had to anoint a couple of personal guards yourselves, as your father would allow you to. So this is a very true statement, and something that only people within the noble family would know of.
And those who have sworn this oath.
Exactly. And he closes up his book and it's like, when he first arrived here, those were the words he told me. But immediately then, he began to laugh at those words and broke his oath. Well, broke your oath in the manner. He told me about a doctor that you might know of. One of a Dr. Schultz. Do you know of this man?
I ponder for a moment there.
If this is definitely more related towards Breaker and Aeros' stories. So if either you two want to make a history check to recall a Dr. Schultz, you are more than free to do so.
Yes, I would.
And no, he doesn't help with you walking.
You said history, right?
Yes.
That is correct.
Let me see if I can remember the key command here. What was
It's
it?
exclamation mark 1d20 plus, and then whatever your history is.
There we go. I'm gonna roll outside of the room.
Yeah, that didn't roll very well at all.
Yeah, roll outside of the room.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
a good
right.
idea.
Get it out of here! Leave!
Okay, so apparently I don't know shit.
And I know about average. There were 10.
Sorry, I just gotta see what you're. That nat one was you rolling outside of it too.
Yeah, that was me rolling outside. Well,
So, to you, Valkin, it's just a weird doctor's name. Like, is he like Sylvan, or is he like Dwarvish, or like maybe he's one of those weird folk that are up in the north, but like they're Elvish,
Hmm.
And I always think that when they say no, it's a number, like for you, Valkin, I actually meant to let you know to get advantage on that check, but you still succeed anyway. This is the man that is actually it's kind of like he's a hired man within your family, and it's kind of hard to explain what his position is because he kind of does a lot of fields of practices. Whether it's like medicinal work, as you know, to see him being like essentially a head doctor, but you've also seen him around developing interesting like new sets of armor for like your for like the guards, designing like different like things within your father's clothing, and you just recall him being a inventor within the family.
He is a man of many, shall we say, talents. And likes to stick his nose in many different areas with some good degree of success.
Yeah, I am
Just to
not
interrupt.
quite.
Sorry,
Oh, go
just
ahead.
interrupt. If he succeeded that knowledge check, what species is he?
For all
Dr.
extensive
Schultz.
for all extensive purposes, Clovis is about to explain for those who don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let me finish. I'm just joking. It's like for you would be familiar with his practices, but to the rest of you, your orange Vulpine here, along with your other Vulpine, they come from a different land, from nobility. One of which that is very much to be feared of, but also to be praiseworthy of. Very kind of brimming along the sides of the Feywilds themselves with your origins, but Dr. Scholes is one of your kind. He is more of a fennec in his subspecies, aka a fennec fox.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met the person myself, but the tales of which your doppelganger, he says with like finger quotations, are actually impeccable. He says that he is some sort of lead of an R&D segment within your facilities. I don't really know those terms that well, but to put it in a simple terms, Dr. Schultz was working on a personalized project to create the perfect soldier. Henceforth, where the oath came in. And you, Vladimir, were defect number 5 of that project.
That is not implausible. However, that seems to be the start of the story. And
Oh, trust me.
making clones there does not, or doppelgangers does not usually cause a binding between them in such a manner as we've seen.
Well, then you might as well go ahead and just look right over there as he gets off from the bed, kind of setting Paarth down onto it. And he essentially like kind of moves the chair a little bit over so he can make it more to the desk. My ally, known as for you, it's the Glass Staff. He was researching a bit more into this land itself, wanting to learn more about its magical practices and how to get it from our end. And he pulls what looks to be a opened envelope. As he shows it to you, and the wax sealant that is on it, it shows your family's sigil on the wax seal, with the color of the wax being a purple-esque. And for all extensive purposes, for your end, Valkin, your sigil does look like a half of a face of a wolf and the other half of a fox. Well, that's like kind of attached to a shield. So that's pretty much what your family sigil would look like.
There is. And the Canis Vulpus crest.
Go ahead and read it.
Nice.
It is your father's handwriting.
I take it with the suspicion there, but firmness at that, and open the letter.
I'm trying to remember, what was your character's last name again? I had to recall.
That would be Raspin.
Raspin. Okay. As you open up the letter, it's immediately recognizable at the fact that this is your father's handwriting, like down to the key and down to the tone of it. Even the feeling of paper is reminiscent towards the unique, more sturdy paper that your family used to bring up notes. As it details your father asking of Dr. Schultz to conduct more of his weird magics upon essentially a simulacrum to create the perfect soldier with. One that will essentially kind of strengthen the bloodline of the family. And also one to essentially protect you at all times.
This is curious. It does seem to officiate and back up your story. Do continue.
When your doppelganger arrived here, he was the first of many. He said that apparently the idea off of you was from a dream of sorts. A dream and a familiar person that there was an old wives' tale about a traveling vulpine, known as the Traveler in some regards. And he was essentially how do I put it? A hired man to eradicate even the deadliest of threats across the multiverse. Now, to show that it was actually true or not, it's unclear. But every aspect of the design from his dreams, they were made into you. And you were supposed to be one of many different people. But something happened during the process, and instead of having one complete soldier, there were 5 incomplete soldiers. You, for whatever reason, are not connected to the others, as he said. But he is looking for a way to unify you all, which is why he brought me into this.
So, we're talking about a unification. So, that is very curious.
Now, let me go back a second to your story. You say that there is this multi-dimensional bounty hunter, for lack of a better story. And was this being interacted with in the creation of the 5? And the 5 are broken and not a whole being as was intended? Or has one of them effectively assumed that role and is trying to bring the other 4 together to complete himself, as it were?
He hesitates for a second, showing confusion. Look, I have no idea about that information. All I know is that for the past weeks, months that he's been here, all he's ever been talking about is that he needs this reunion in order to be complete. I tried asking him about it, but the moment I did, he kind of like opens up his cloth a little bit, and you see 3 bullet wounds in his chest. So I stopped asking questions.
I see.
I need to use some character knowledge here. Has Clovis ever had a history of the guild taking on contracts as sketchy as this one?
Not from your understanding, no. You probably wouldn't know that much information since you're like in your chain. You're not really on the high end of things. You're more on the
I'm
low
assigned to the
end.
juniors.
Yeah. So you really would not have any of that particular information. Nor would you even realize what a contract would look like in cases like this too, since you're not really a part of those dealings.
Paarth understands what a oath kind of is, but he doesn't quite get contract, no.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me ask you this. How many of these, gesturing towards Vladimir, copies has he said need to be rounded up?
There's 5 of you in total. You, my friend, are the 5th one, considered to be the most shattered of all, as from what he was telling me, there is an innate connection between you all, but he wasn't able to feel it unless you have that on you, as he points to your mask. That mask is the key to stopping him, from what I was assuming. I don't have an exact idea of things because all he said was that the reunion is needed with three important key things. A way to turn that mask into a powerful artifact, acting similarly to a phylactery. The 5 people and a little bloodshed.
There, a little bloodshed, you say?
To say the least. Besides that, he has not told me much else.
You know, I almost wonder if it involves one sacrificing the other 4, using their blood to become whole. It's just a thought process, honestly.
That is what I thought too. But it wouldn't make sense to sacrifice 1 out of the 5 for a reunion if there was only intended to be 1 of you.
No, I was thinking more of sacrificing other 4.
Oh. Yeah, that's more the direction that I have.
Yes. So that effectively answers my previous question, whether this one who is issuing you the orders was in fact this interdimensional being there, or one of those created. If there are 5 created and he counts himself among them and must find the other 4, then he is taking the persona of this bounty hunter.
Oh no, you all are the bounty hunter. That's not a persona of things. From analyzing and kind of getting to know the rest of them, they're already connected. They're already together as one, working on different schemes and such. But you're the only one left.
Curious.
And yet, if the one needed the other 4, well, no, I suppose that could make sense as to why they would try to outright kill me, just to potentially collect my blood to use as part of ritual, because they probably know I wouldn't go willingly.
Yes.
Damn.
Now, next question. The mark. The one that allows him to kill remotely.
The mark?
How does that? Yes.
What do you mean by the mark?
The Vladimir? Would you mind showing him and refreshing his memory?
Ah, right. And he carefully turns himself around. Vladimir carefully turns himself around and he lifts up his coat and shirt to reveal his lower back, to reveal the mark that's on him.
He kind of steps forward. And looks over your mark.
Reminder that this was mentioned to Clovis over the sending stone on the first night.
Yes, that is correct.
Mhm.
He will basically just kind of like look over it a little bit. He's like, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. There is a certain bonding mark that needs to be added to each person in order for the ritual to continue. It's already been marked on him. So the only thing that's left is that if you do fight against him, it's going to be difficult whether or not the reunion will occur.
There.
So let me get this straight. What you're saying is if two of me, I suppose, for lack of better phrasing, if two of me locked into combat and one dies, the other will inherit them. Their peace. Does that sound about right?
I wish I knew how it worked, but that does seem like a viable assumption. Like I said, I don't know the full in and outs about what this reunion is, but I do know that if it does come down to him pretty much just being the one in control, I don't think there's anyone going to be able to stop him.
Mm.
This man is, well, that duplicate that you say, he is a serial killer. I've seen him torture people, kill them right out front in the most sadistic of manners.
So, if we were to say break the fracturing of this supposed singular being into facets of a person, then he would be both ego and the rage.
I don't know. All I know is that at this point, I don't know if you can go back and stop what he's done. The only
Then-
thing I can really advise is that you watch your step carefully. But there might be a way we can work out with this. Though we have one big obstacle in our way as well. Well, a couple. Firstly, I'm not sure if you've heard about anything of a wave echo cave at all yet. Yes?
Actually, we have heard.
Same.
If I recall correctly, hold on, Vulcan, Norelor, wasn't that the place where? Wasn't that the spot where we initially ran into a cragmaw out there with the goblins and the undead?
Yeah, I don't think it was that cave. Maybe, but
I might be mistaking it for something else, but I could have
it's
sworn.
the legend of the Echo Cave. About
Exactly.
Oh, well, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. The Wave Echo Cave held what was known as the Forge of Spells, an area that could create tremendously powerful artifacts. If you go there, he's expecting you to be there too. Because that, as he points to your mask, is the key. Whether it's to his plan or to yours, I advise you stay away from that location. Or if any means possible, prevent him from getting there in the first place.
Well, as I see things here, there are a few potentials. First is that if we were to encounter one of the other doppelgangers, that if he were to kill them, perhaps even having to be wearing the mask at the time, he would then absorb another portion of himself. But then that would leave him vulnerable to have the same to him. The other is to find a practitioner of a high enough skill to remove that mark. And that would effectively nullify the other's ability to unify all of them until such time he was able to reapply them.
It's hard to
Unless
say with that
it's-
line of questioning, with the information you have, since there's not really anything you know about this reunion, if that makes sense.
That was just adding together the fact the mask is important and the marks intertwine them.
Yes. That's really all you can like really gauge off of that. I just wanted to,
Mhm.
clarify that.
Just question. The red band warriors. We know at least one had the mark, which was used to kill. Do you know how many others have the mark? Or was it just him?
From what I've seen, the rest of them do. They were
So-
just waiting to use an assault to apply the mark onto him.
Hmm.
aka referring to the goblin assault that was partaken upon you.
Very well.
And so assume that's the reason why the goblins went undead on it.
It's a bit like that. The ruffians have a connection with Kragmaw at this time, and since he was able to also get the liking of their leader, he made a deal with them as well. The full contracts around it I have no idea about, but it might have resulted within you being marked as well.
The other option is to somehow destroy the mask.
Trust me, I've tried many, many different times. They're not able to be destroyed. I even traveled into the Feywilds and got myself some dust of corrosion. That rusts any metal.
That prompts Paarth just to lift his head up at the mention of Feywilds.
It is curious. Something I resist.
No, you wouldn't necessarily need to destroy the mask, right? You would just need to figure out a way to de-link the two. To stop. I'm assuming?
There. Yes, that is another possibility, though generally it is easier to... Well, if we were to break the link, then it breaks all the magic properties of the thing, and then it is able to be destroyed as a normal object. That is effectively what that dust does. The fact that it did not work.
If you were able to find some way to break the link, by all means do so. Because unless you do that, either you're running for the rest of your life, or you're trying to find some way to kill him before he kills you. That's the only thing I can really advise, and that's everything that I know at least about him. But my concern would be more upon this Echo Cave. According to what I know, a Gundren Rock Seeker was taken recently. As you might know that as well, correct?
Yes.
Paarth chirps.
He had a map detailing the exact location as to where the Echo Cave was located. If he gets it, if your doppelganger gets this location and is able to see if the forge is still working after all these years, I don't think he could be killed at that point.
So it sounds like our current objective would be to find Gundren Rockseeker. Right? Is that the name? I always get that mixed up.
It's fine. Yeah, that's his name.
Gundren, okay. So then our first objective would be to find him and intercept him before he gets effectively passed off.
Paarth looks towards Clovis, and the party get a glimpse from Paarth's mind of the little item that Aknon handed Paarth to give to the Gundren Rockseeker when basically of Paarth placing the item down on the table in front of Gundren Rockseeker and him taking the item from Paarth.
Actually,
Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
I was say you do notice that particular image, and Clovis does point to it, just being like, "Yes, that's what the map looks like."
I said, just to play here, this is the real Clovis we're dealing with, right?
You say that out of character?
Yeah.
As far as we can tell, we're still not sure.
I said,
Yeah.
well,
As you three of Norelor, Valkin, and Vladimir, you don't really know too much about Clovis. So there's not really an easy way of like seeing like, is he a doppelganger? Cause like, would a doppelganger know this information? Like, but for you, Paarth, like everything at least matches up of like the way he treats you and like the way he like has pet your special like your like the special part of your head or like behind like your horns and everything, like you're like the spots you love to be pet at and scritched at, like
All of his little
these would
mannerisms are still there.
exactly. So for you it's more believable, like it like fake real like feels real to me, you know.
Just
Okay.
the way there's just this weird way of acting initially when Vlad was trying to get information and laughing all the time was just really strange to Paarth, though.
Yeah.
okay. Noticing how relaxed and great he probably is the actual Clovis, because Paarth seems to be familiar with him. Going, oh yeah, the payment. So we just give it to you now as well. Just a side thing.
I'm sorry, I lost a couple of those words. You said, what was the question?
We were paid to make that delivery. We made the delivery to Rockseeker, the very person that we need to chase after again. But
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
made that payment. Nora's asking about the payment to Clovis, because we're still supposedly guild members, despite the fact that at no point has Clovis talked about any guild-related stuff, despite the fact that the whole point was we were trying to get to Clovis, you know, to complete the initiation.
Mhm.
He does a really deep sigh. this is where I have to apologize to you. There is no guild.
Why am I not surprised?
This really has Paarth confused because he's been wearing the guild crest, and been trained at the guild in all this time.
Yeah, for you, Paarth, it's like this is a shocker of just like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean I'm not part of a guild? You only remember though being kind of taken care of, and you've been on a couple missions with Aknon and such.
And 2 other
But
parties.
Yes. For those, I mean, they turned out horribly and everything, and you're not really sure what happened to them, but it is quite a shocker to you.
So the building that Paarth was raised in, all that wasn't a guild hall?
Sounds like several spells of great illusion have been played in here.
Aknon and I, we were harpers at some point, as you know.
Yes.
When the tragedies of Aknon hit, he wanted to get revenge somehow. As such, I was uncertain of what to do, and so we tried making a living by faking we had a guild. I collected a couple of familiars and such from different areas and kind of put them in a big old wagon to train, and that was until people started believing that we were a guild, which led to 2 groups being killed. We stopped doing that for a bit until he showed up, saying that we had grand old tales and that he knew of our fallacies and that he would report us for murder of 2 potential groups of adventurers if he would assist us. So we sent out a hiring for all the locations he needed to gather information at, and we got you guys.
Norelor, why would he need yeah, this is all in our head, by the way. Why would he need a wide village? What, just farming community?
Paarth looks really confused because he knows all the time that he's been trained over the many years, and Pa's confused at the collar that he's still wearing.
As you see, like, Clovis does look towards you, Paarth, and there is some sadness that's showing and frustration as, like, he kind of clenches his fists and he's just like, I shouldn't have taken you from where you were from. I robbed you of what you were supposed to be. And I robbed you of the rest of you. Of this terrible fate. Well, I put you in this terrible fate. At this point, I just want to go back to helping people. But I can't do that until I help Aknon first. But I do hope you can find it to forgive me.
A low growl emits from Valkin's throat. There, one that rolls into a grumble, almost crossed with a sigh.
Paarth,
Tell me,
go ahead first.
tell me your plans. What do you want to do here? You say you were blackmailed into this position, effectively, by this, the doppelganger #1.
I am still technically a harper. I have not left. I am still a part of them. I've been using their information to get different missions for people. I can get you what information you need in order to stop him.
Paarth inquisitively recalls the images that Akhanon specifically gave Paarth the item to give to Rockseeker, and is incredibly puzzled as to why the map was supposed to be given to Rockseeker in the first place, if Akhanon already had it in his possession.
It was, I believe he was apparently associated with the Echo Cave, so it was kind of like getting insider info, I'm guessing.
Wait, so Paarth, are you asking, like, Clovis that? Because you do have, like,
Yeah.
a connection with him, like,
I don't have the bond, but we have the background with each other still. Like, he knows how Paarth thinks. So
he does.
What Paarth is connecting together here is Akhanon, the map, being given the map, and told very explicitly to give it to that dwarf. Why?
Do you want to ask about that in some way, or?
Yeah, the way Paarth did was is distinctly recalling Akhanon laying on the bed, badly harmed, being given the map, and him delivering it to the Rockseeker.
There's a
These are all
tale for that one.
Yeah, these are all little flashes of like memory, right?
Yeah. And to which the way that you try to present it towards, it's like, I know things don't add up, but let me explain. The reason why Akhanon was sent was to give the map to Gundren. The Rock Seekers have been searching for the cave for a while, and in order for us to make a little extra money, we'd give the map to them. However, even if we were able to not locate it at all, either way, we were still going to alert the doppelganger of Gundren's location, so that way he could be snatched up and taken away.
So you gave the map away to get money for your quote-unquote guild, and then brought the wrath of the doppelganger down. Is that about the long and short of it?
Yes. We didn't even hear of any tales like that until we had been told of a certain library. A library that had a surprising amount of information for how small it was. We didn't really know where it was located, but there was a small village that we were in, and we had asked around in it. It was a small, quaint sort of town, primarily human with a couple of others. And upon hearing about this library of trying to find information, I went to go search myself. But your doppelganger had... I'm just not going to stop. I'm going to stop saying that. He had other plans. The moment we found the necessary information of where to start digging, which was located within some folklores and tales of the library, he burnt it down. And to cover his tracks, he was going to burn down that village. I, unfortunately, I was able to, luckily, talk him out of it. And to get some assistance in that village, looking towards Norelor, I sent an invitation over.
She nods, grasping the gravity of the situation.
You're all connected because you've been drawn from different locations that connect towards his plan. I only really needed to get you out here, Vlad. But I wanted the rest of you here because I don't know if I could stop him, knowing that Akanon is not going to work with me.
Well, considering the current situation where Eknon has pretty much just, primarily cussed Vulcan out, but indirectly the rest of us, it would take nothing short of a miracle in order for him to reconsider.
But I think you can do that, though. There's a way we can do it, but it's not pretty.
Has anything else around here have been?
Besides the hillsides.
Well,
Anyway.
fair enough.
Also, Vladimir, what is your passive insight? Oh, not Vladimir, sorry, Vulcan. Vulcan, my bad.
Vulcan. Okay, my
keep
passive
confusing you two.
insight there, so that would be calculated as 10 plus whatever the bonus is.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, that would be 12.
I'm not letting you roll to check and see if he's being honest, because from his mannerisms, it doesn't look like he's restraining himself at all from details. So it looks like from your perspective that he is telling the truth.
Okay, haven't detected anything that seemed particularly odd. Gotcha.
Yeah, especially since he has been striking up a deal with you guys, and he hasn't tried to like hide anything or anything like that. He's been pretty open and vulnerable from according to your perspective, so
Okay.
Yeah.
So what
Alright.
would be this method that isn't pretty?
The reason why Aknon is helping your doppelganger, which he's actively helping, is so that way he can find a way to get in contact with his loved one.
Paarth is definitely confused now.
Yeah, this is something that Paarth does not actually know. There was a moment in time where Aknon was going to quit the Harpers and settle down. He he was so praised for being like, how do I put it? Fantastic at everything he did. He was an excellent documenter of his cases. He knew every inch around the different cities he went to, including his work in Baldur's Gate. But the moment that he was getting some extra help is when he met someone, and he fell in love. Her name is Lynn. Well, her name was Lynn. Before he could even marry her, and before they could even have their first child, a goblin assault hit the town of Phandalin, along with some orcs. The Harpers were there to defend them, but because of where she was at the time, and Aknon being in this city, this town to help, they did unspeakable things to her before killing her.
So, this whole thing is more or less Eknon trying to take advantage of the idea Wait. He's not thinking of trying to contact from another dimension, is he? Sounds a little far-fetched, but...
I don't think so. But the only thing he's really been saying is that he's doing this for Lynn. And that concerns me.
Yes, as there are means of resurrecting someone after my death. I would not see why he would need to align himself with such a being as that, especially after his explosion there of what happened in the other room.
Well, that's where I was a bit concerned too, but until we heard more about the Forge of Spells, he might have a way to bring her back with it. Or some other means.
This still feels very off. Surely someone of Akonon's learning would know there are other means than that to bring someone back.
I don't know what research he's done, but he says that this is his last-ditch effort in trying to get her back. This is all I've heard, though. But if there's a way you can convince him and try to find some bit of evidence, you might be able to stop him and bring him back to your side. Our side, that is.
Yes.
The
With
biggest
him,
thing is...
with him, we have enough strength. That's all I'm saying. Right now, I don't know. But in the meantime, if you can find any particular hints, anything would be appreciated.
So the biggest thing I have to figure out is... Well, we have to figure out... is what kind of evidence are we exactly looking for?
The only place I know is that he still does have his homes near the forest of Phandalin, where he was trying to settle. There might be something in there, but I don't know the exact location, as the woods there do have a bit of Fayish magic connected to them, where some creatures from the Feywilds are able to go here through the forest. So you might need to find a way to get yourself there and see if there might be any particular evidence. I don't really know much more, but... And I know that if I start snooping around there, I don't think that will have any other luck, as it may be.
Paarth lifts his head, making an inquisitive chirp at Clovis, waiting for Clovis to look his way. And after Paarth stares at Clovis for a long few seconds, seeming to be judging him, the pseudodragon fishes out the key out of his side bag.
Oh yeah, that does connect to the Brave Isle. The Feywild, doesn't it?
You would not know that, Norelor.
But isn't that what Monster's characters told us back in the end, when it was first shown?
Valkin commented that it resembled one of the keys to the Fey Courts.
It resembles it, but you're not entirely sure if it actually goes there, you know?
Yes. Yeah, it's one of
just,
those...
just clarifying it.
Yeah, one of those, it looks like it there, but the only way to be sure is to locate an entry point and attempt to use it.
Yes.
Nonetheless, so Paarth fishes it out. I'm curious what Clovis's response might be.
he kind of just looks at the key. He's like, if it has to come down to it, then there's one thing else you should know too. Paarth here is a special sort of pseudo-dragon. I don't know much more besides that, but all I know is that when I gathered you from the Feywilds and brought you here for training, I did get wind that there was a destiny being held up with you. There might be a way for you to gain some additional help within the Feywilds if you travel back to the courts. I don't know if this key will help, but anything, really anything, is a try at this point. I'm sorry that this is so much information, but...
Well, it's information that we need.
There, yes. This is concerning all of it.
But I would like to point out something though.
What is it?
I did ask what kind of evidence are we looking for in regards to Lynn. Like, is it evidence that we're looking for Lynn that says that she forgives him for what has happened, or that, you know, that kind of stuff?
That is going to be something that you will have to find on your own. The only thing I can really say is you might be able to appeal if you do make an argument with some evidence suggesting that this is not what she would want. Or perhaps finding some sort of compromise. Any of that information you need for your advantage, but as an exact knowledge, I have no idea.
Well, at least we have starting point.
Yes.
Paarth,
Maybe
could
not.
you- oh, sorry.
Maybe not exactly what we're trying to look for, but at least we have starting point to where, okay, we can start here, but if we find other things that are a bit more pertinent, then we could go with that.
Paarth seems to regard Clovis for a few moments before putting the key back into his little side pouch, and kind of looks at Clovis, trying to figure out how much Clovis actually knows about Paarth's connection to the Fae.
Sorry, I was texting someone. So you're saying that you're asking like how he knows so much about the Feywilds?
Well, no, Paarth is just simply putting the key back and trying to just figure out, because Clovis seemed to be much more aware of Paarth's connection to the Feywilds than he expected is all.
Yeah. It is a bit shocking to you, but it does lead for a good investigation. Well, there's not really too much else I can tell you about what truly is important and going on. My encouragement is simply this. However means you can find some additional support, whether it be in order to get back Gundren in the map, or even trying to persuade Aknon to our side, it's only the real information I can potentially help you out with. If I find anything though, and as he kind of shuffles through his pockets and he hands you all a ascending stone.
Mm-hmm.
Please let me know.
Very well. Now, there is one other thing you might be able to help with. And that is regarding these ruffians. How do they fit into the picture?
The picture itself is to help with transportation. Once Gundren had the map, it was only a matter of time before the ruffians would start to transport them. If he's already gone at this point, means they're already on their way towards Castle Cragmaw.
And do you by chance know its actual location?
I'm sorry. I've been trying to search for that location for a while now, but the only
Hold on.
person that truly knows is those who live at the castle and him.
Hang on. Didn't Vulcan?
Yes.
Didn't that dude mention about the general direction of Cragmaw Castle? Like, what was it, northeast or something like that, or northwest from here? It was
And there-
north something.
Yes, he did. There
Was
he
it-
did mention.
Yeah, I remember that too. I was just wondering if you knew the specific location. You do have a general track from, well, the town.
Mm-hmm. There, he did mention that it was towards the northwest.
Was it west? Like northwest?
And there, player here. To be frank, that was about 6 to 8 weeks ago. There, so memory's a little fuzzy.
If you do a history check, I can rattle your memory.
All right. There, though, it was about maybe 4 hours ago in game time.
Yep.
Let's see.
He said it was maybe north or west. I was looking at my game notes.
Okay, so that was my history check of 18.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Nenewza, I didn't quite catch fully what you were saying.
I decided I've been taking notes this entire time. I decided to take a quick look at them. He said it was
Oh,
either north
okay.
or west.
Hmm.
So, sorry, that was 18 you said, and then did anyone else attempt to roll, or oh no,
There-
oh, you also got an
Me.
18.
Yeah, to Paarth,
Right.
that's not information that would stick with Paarth, so.
That's true. So from your general recognition, your general knowledge is that, even from like the things that like Aknon would kind of say on the side of some things, you do know that generally, that there is potentially a castle that has been seeing some hints of like orcs and goblins that does go along the Trialborg Trail, which does kind of lead a bit more into the Netherwinter Woods. So for purposes on a map, let me see if I can just locate the general map itself.
The what woods are they?
The Neverwinter Woods, aka like the woods that just kind of surround that are like near just Neverwinter in total.
Gotcha.
To kind of give you like the idea, like when you guys were on the coast, the Sword Coast, pretty much, there
Mhm.
was a essentially what was known as a high road that you went down and turned left on the Trowboard Trail. The Neverwinter Woods are to the left of the Trowboard Trail, while the area which you are at and where Phandalin is near the Sword Mountains. So so in the general sense, it's that in some off segment of the Trowboard Trail, it could potentially lead into a castle being in those woods. So it would be potentially just primarily north, not like northwest or northeast.
And
Gotcha.
out of character, this is supposedly where they have started escorting Rockseeker, right?
That is correct. If they have already not gotten him there by other means.
Gotcha.
So probably we need to, in a hurry, try to find out any sign of Gundrel. And if we can't find him, then I guess we would be suspecting that he's on his way over to that castle.
That is correct.
Well, I do have one way of trying to track him. However, I know not a lot of people, including Paarth. Not many of us here like using it. But I do have method of tracking him.
The mask. Yes.
Da.
That's a little weird because so the mask does give you Hunter's Mark, but you would have already had to have marked the target before it.
Oh, okay, so that was missed in the details.
Yeah, but there is at least some still idea that you might be able to use it still.
By
Aid
trying to
you in picking up
see out of the other Vlad's eyes? Personally, I don't quite understand how the mask works either. It was a little vague when it was first described.
Yeah. It is generally there to be vague of its properties, at least in the majority of senses. But as you do like ponder it, you do at least know that the Hunter's Mark feature is not going to work. But there might be some extra stuff you might be able to investigate further with.
Well, I do wonder though if there might be something else that with the mask I might be able to utilize in order to track down Gundren.
Possibly. But
The
we
problem
can see.
is though, what exactly? I mean, look, let's admit it. Magic is not my forte. I go slash and I go boom. With gunpowder. But when it comes to magics, I have no idea how that works.
There he is. Oh.
Good.
The largest. That I think will be for another time. Or in a little bit. Let's see.
Said, well, in theory, the company goes through the mark and see and hear through your eyes. Crowd. So in theory, could the opposite be true? Could you see through his ears and eyes? Would that even be possible?
Vladimir actually ponders on that for a second. He goes, now that you mention it, I don't see why it wouldn't work two ways, but again, I wouldn't know how that works. We would have to consult someone who knows how this kind of stuff works. Like, hell, I don't even know if Valkin knows how that kind of shit works.
Oaken ponders that a second. Well, it really depends on the magic item. It could be that it is bidirectional, be monodirectional. With a thing such as this, with its properties and all defying and normal understandings, it only way we could find out is to test it.
Well, there might be a time to testing pretty soon, but
Yes.
for now, this is pretty much all I can give you, and I better go be meeting up with, you know who.
There. Yes. Before you go, this glass person. What is he?
I figured you would ask about that too. He's a current member of the Lord's Alliance. And at this time, he was primarily trying to strike up a deal with you know who in order to pretty much just kind of, how do I put it? Put things in a better share of being able to get a direct connection to the Forge of Spells. He promised to share the secrets of what he discovered about the Forge itself in exchange for help and loyalty. And being able to help with general research of being able to locate it faster.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain the that would explain what happened to that one dude.
Yes, indeed. But yes, from what I've gathered too, since this is a pretty much betrayal upon the Lord's Alliance, I don't know if anyone else besides anyone here truly knows about his betrayal. Just that he was helping out him, the other Vlad, on this escapade.
Yes. And there is some will need to be brought up at some point. Whether that is soon or days from now. If he is your friend and you have loyalties to him, I suggest that you convince him to give up peaceably. The betrayal of the Lord's Alliance, there is grave. There have been reasons for forgiveness and expulsion without undue ripping of one's titles, lands, and person.
At this point, I'm just looking at it as well. Time to continue being defect of defects. Time to piss all the other ones off.
Though, yes, there is that. Though I will say that he will have need a very good reason for the Lord's Alliance. Very large, truthful accounting to what he has done. That is my best recommendation for him. If he tries to run and hide there, stripping of his titles will be the least of his worries.
I'm sorry, I missed a key thing. Who are they referring to?
I'm not sure either. What are you referring to?
The glass was it scepter guy.
Oh,
The glass staff.
so if
Yes.
you're saying if he misbehaves, he's going to have his title stripped. All right.
Well, he's already misbehaved. His only recourse now is going to be he needs to effectively turn himself into the Lord's Alliance, admit his mistakes there, and beg forgiveness. If he does that, he may simply be stripped of his role in the Alliance, put under careful watch, and then basically gets to more or less be jailed in his own little kingdom there
Hmm.
and left alone if everything is pled correctly. But if he runs and tries to hide in all of this, and the Lord's Alliance is going to find out what he's done, the stripping of a title is going to be the least of his worries.
Gotcha.
Well, that depends if he goes forward, though. That's the big thing. Which is none of your concern, since we already made a deal that you would let him go.
There. Remember, this deal was to let him leave this manor and town unharmed.
No,
Well,
he did say
hold
let him
on.
get away scot-free. Out of
Hold
character,
on.
just heads up.
Yes, that
Hold
was part
on.
of the deal.
Valkin, you had it was specifically stated that we are not to touch him.
There, and two things there, yes. I stated in my deal there before the hands were shaken that the deal was he will be able to walk out of here unmolested and leave this town. We will do nothing to try and stop him from doing this, and would not intentionally try to attack him. And in exchange, you would give a free flow of information. You said yes.
I said to be technically that we won't be involved with the Lord Alliance thing at all. It'd be that on that end, correct?
Yes, but that's... I guess he, hesitates a bit where it's like, look, the biggest thing is not, is not him at this point. It's the fact that there's some psychotic person who is trying to become stronger than anything we've seen before is still out there, by the way, as
Out
we're
of char-
sitting here talking about these small details.
Out of
There-
character, he is not our problem. Leave it be.
Is
Yes.
it? Yeah, he isn't our problem anyways. We have better fish to fry.
Yes, exactly. Which is why I have to get going so I can get you as much information as I can.
There, I hold up a paw there. You're right. We have bigger fish to fry, but that does not mean that the small do not get fried as well.
Whatever you say. Well,
There. Like
if
I
I
said,
find...
tell him to turn himself in and divest himself of these red ruffians. He does this, he will likely get leniency from the council, and he will simply not be able to participate, and he will live out his days in his own kingdom as if none of this ever happened.
It's going to be hard to let that happen if, we let a psychopath...
I am not saying we ignore the psychopath. Priorities. These things will happen in due course.
Okay, however you plan to deal with it is of your call. I just know that at this time, my priority is set with taking out his doppelganger and helping out
Agreed.
any means I can. This is not
Agreed.
an argument. I'm saying this in total that is the number one priority.
You have my agreement. This.
Okay.
So I've been waiting to do this for a while, but
Yeah, I'm sorry.
you guys keep wrenching him down for no reason. Any case, uh, when Clovis is starting to prepare to actually leave, uh, Paarth will chirp out a bunch of musical notes, the first stanza of one of the old songs that Clovis used to sing in front of the familiars, the
Aw.
ones that he used to do all the time, just to see if he finishes the second stanza of the song.
He hums it, and before he takes his leave, he says something that actually strikes up a memory with you, Paarth. As he turns around, he's just like, I do hope you can find yourself back home, fair prince, before he makes his way out into a table and closes the door.
Well, that
Okay.
causes Paarth to tilt his head curiously and blink a few times.
Yeah.
As does
Um,
Valkin.
For you, Paarth, go ahead and give me a history check.
My worst skill. Okay.
I'll give you advantage because it's very familiar phrasing.
Okay. In that case, roll 1 and roll 2. Roll 2 is not happening. So that
So
would
13.
be a 14.
14. Oh, you actually just succeed. Nice.
I have a +1.
Very nice.
Yay!
You get a little bit of a headache. As you try to recall, like, Prince? What does that mean? When you actually realize that that was actually a title that you were referred to, or like a name, I suppose. Title kicks in right away, but then the confusion of title, what is title? Name is better. That your first name was Prince, but then it was like, wait, so is Paarth my second name? You just know that this was something that you were referred to by that dryad lady that you had seen and played with in the Feywilds recently.
Hmm.
So, with
Did
the
this-
following information provided to you, how do you proceed?
So, it looks like our first order of business now is to find Rockseeker. Da?
No, no.
Paarth makes a nod and a warble.
Yes. Does seem to be reasonable. There.
So, our biggest concern as of right now is tracking him down. Unfortunately, the only avenue that I could think of right off may not work in the first place.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that there might be other methods of tracking him down other than just by sight alone.
As you discuss these details, this is completely up to you guys and how you go forward with it. I'm gonna go ahead and just get myself a quick drink again. But you guys can keep talking, so I'll be right back.
Alright.
Right. So what say rest of you?
There. Yes, finding Gungeon would likely be our best course of action. Although I think we should probably avail ourselves of this manor and see what things they taken from the town. Make sure that they get returned to the people. Well, no, there may
Understood.
be some useful items around here that this old place had in its depths.
But here's bigger question.
Yes.
With those items, would those have been stolen from other places to begin with? Because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that taking stolen items is still stealing.
There, it is possible, though it is also possible that in a mansion such as this, there may be something that was left here by the previous occupants there after the fire. They
Perhaps.
never came to claim.
And I feel like most point out, we are in the room of what was the leader of the Red Knight, and he has a bunch of stuff on his desk. You could try looking at those to see if it gives a lead to where he was.
Yes.
Out of
Quite
character, just a
right.
note, there is still a desk covered in notes, including notes
Mhm.
about the potion stuff he was doing and anything else that may or may not have the insignia of Valkin's kingdom.
Exact.
There.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what character was pointing out. All the stuff, all the papers on the desk.
Mm-hmm. There. Yes. There. Yes. I certainly want to look through here and see if there anything else that hides in my family.
At this
Just-
point, I don't think there will be much of a better option as of right now. Especially considering that
They have quite the
Yes.
head start on us.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Said, well, given that they have quite a bit of a head start on us, that's anything sweet of the pasta will be helpful.
While
Yes.
we're waiting for Ace out of character here, Ren, I've heard your microphone far better before. Your microphone is making you sound very distant and hollow for some reason. Are you using a different headset or a different microphone than usual?
I've been using the exact same one. It's attached to a headset, so it can't exactly change the distance too much between my mouth and the microphone.
And you're sure it is picking up the headset, not done something dumb where Windows is picking up like your computer monitor's microphone or something's different, right?
I don't think it even has a microphone.
Just making sure, because you've never sounded this hollow and distant in all of our previous calls.
Do you want me to disconnect and reconnect, see if that fixes it?
Just go into Windows sound settings and just double check that the primary recording device is correct.
And Discord itself.
Yeah, and in Discord settings.
Okay.
Just in case it says something stupid like your computer's monitor's name or something.
So Windows settings, devices.
Easiest way is right-click the speaker symbol in the bottom right corner next to your clock and just go to Sounds. And then go to Recording tab.
Okay, what's going on?
We're just double-checking Ren's mic.
Oh, got it.
Leave it, stick in the webcam.
That would be why I was so concerned. That this sounds very much like a cheap webcam kind of sound.
That's it.
Okay, is it better now or worse?
It's sounding better, but to double check, go into Discord settings and change it there too.
Okay. Okay, devices. Settings.
In Discord, it's just user settings, voice and video, and then input device. Make sure it's set to your microphone.
Okay, how's this?
Way better.
Oh, way better.
1,000
yes.
times better.
Okay, I did not know that was a thing.
You
Oh
no
my
lo-
god, that's
no longer
crystal clear.
Yeah, you no longer sound like you're talking through a paper bag.
Yes. There we go.
Oh my, the curse has been lifted. I'm joking. I'm joking.
God be praised.
It quite seriously sounded like you're talking through a paper bag underwater or something.
Yeah. Like, the best way to put it is, like, I don't know if you guys know about, like, the Vanos Gaming in that crew or so, but there's one guy in that crew named H2O Delirious, and his entire shtick is that he uses a mic from, like, early 2000s, and that's what it sounded like, where it's like,
Yes.
yeah.
One of the old magnetic-based microphones after it's aged where the magnet is super weak.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's so funny. But yeah, anyway, getting
Well-
back.
That's what take up.
Oh my god, if I get the chance to play like a South Park game and I just have like a little like mouth cover, I just want to talk like that the whole time.
Just
like-
just reuse one of your N95 masks. It'll achieve the same effect on a microphone.
Yes, there you go.
So, any case, what you missed is a little bit of banter. The ones that can read are looking at the papers on the desk to see if there's anything interesting, such as Valkin's kingdom symbol on anything else, as well as anything regarding invisibility potions or any other potion-y type stuff. And Paarth was just starting to stick his little snooty snoot around the trunk here to see if there's anything interesting with it.
Yes, go ahead and give me an investigation check for those who are going through the papers, along with you, Dav. Yeah, give me a perception check.
So, an investigation check, right?
Yes.
Investigation. So it is 12 for Paarth.
12. Okay.
And while Paarth is doing that, Vladimir's just kind of looking at him going,
Huh?
something's got his attention here.
Wow, that dice. That was incredible.
Make sure you...
Nat
Ye-
20? 21?
Aw, shit.
I got 15.
Dawn, that magic roll of yours, it went through the wall to Paarth's right, climbed up the stairs, popped through the roof, flew over the aether so high it went over my camera, landed on the void as a 20, and then sunk into the abyss.
And yet I see it right here. You can even see it on stream.
It is not there on my screen.
Whoa!
On my screen, for those that are watching, it's way over here.
God damn. All right. Yeah, I saw that. That was really weird. Anyway, I'll still count that nat 20, but please roll outside of the map because the map is flat.
There.
It is flat and smooth like my brain. Anyway. Okay, so let's check the chat. Okay, so Nenewza 15, Breaker crit. Aeros, were you trying to do a check or no?
You can investigate the chest too in case you understand things Paarth doesn't. Like, oh look, rock things, and you go, those are potions, Paarth.
Oh look, a metal brick. That's a lock.
And this is investigation, right?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Yes.
Oh boy, shiny rocks. Those are precious gems.
Those are grenades.
Oh, that's even worse.
They have a cute little pin.
That'll be 12 for investigation.
Oh god,
Okay,
can you
so-
imagine Paarth, happy as can be, running over to Vlad holding a pin in his maw? Just wagging his tail. Meanwhile,
Oh
Vlad,
god.
Paarth, where did you get that? And also, bang! In a faraway room.
God, it's like the... I don't know what movie it's from, but it's literally like reminiscent of like a scene where like there's like a gunfight or so, and like a dog literally just like a person throws a grenade, and then like one of those like little vet dogs and everything in the war like goes and grabs it and just drops it right in front of the enemy. He's like, "No, bad dog," and then it blows up.
Oh, poor doggo.
Oh!
Well, he got out just fine, but well, kinda. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't watch the rest of the movie. Anyway, So with your investigations, I'm gonna go ahead and first go over to lay chest, first, and then we'll go over to the papers. In the chest, you see that there's actually a very odd set of things in there. First one is that there's a kind of an attached note to the top of it, which reads in common because it's pretty simple, and it's just like, personal chest, do not touch, on the inside of the chest.
You can't
And
tell me what to do. I can't read.
if those kids read that, they would be insulted.
No,
They knew how to read that.
I was doing the Arthur one where his
I
little
know.
sister, you can't, that sign can't tell me what to do. I can't read.
I love that. Yeah, I reminiscent with that. Hey, how did you get those balloons to be square? By blowing square breath. Huh? Anyway, as you open the chest, you see that there is a very odd number of different items that are within there. Along with there's like another note attached in there. And for you, Vlad, since you're the one who actually has opposable thumbs, and can read potentially, that's one of the first key things that you notice. In addition, you do see what looks to be a short-looking staff, but it might be like a wand, but it has like the structure of a staff, if that makes sense. You also do see a small little cape that is in there. In addition, you also see a ring and a odd-looking device with a glass lens on it.
This is a bit of an interesting mix of items.
So that plus the additional note that's kind of laying on those, not the one that's on the inside of the chest saying personal items do not touch, but there's a separate one that's written there.
Vladimir is going to pick up the note and just kind of examine it around a little bit to see if there's anything on it, like a seal or...
You open the letter, and there's only a couple of things that are said on it. And to the exact words, it says, "Hey guys, figured you need some extra help. So, good luck with Aknon." And it's like an XOXOXO Clovis.
Okay.
At that point, Vladimir's just kind of staring at it going, I do not know why, but I feel that Clovis tends to be a little flirtatious with certain things.
And has
Well.
precognition.
Is that.
I guess, well, he probably just got lucky, but anyway.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all that's really seen in there is just, I guess I can give a bit extra details on them. So for the thing that looks like a staff but also a wand, it looks to be as you kind of like pull out and everything, it has a little like kind of orb at the end of it, that has like a little slit down the middle of the orb itself, almost as if like something is kind of like separate, like it could like open up a little bit. And as you kind of like figment it around a little bit, you do see that it does actually extend into a full it does extend into a full staff. So it is like partially metal, as it is
staff.
it looks as if it's a wooden craft design, but it is purely metal, as it looks as if it's like a purplish dark with like a mix of opal crystal going down the rod itself, almost as if it's like a tree that has crackling opal energy connecting to the orb on top.
That's interesting.
The cape is an ultra blue cape. For you, Paarth, you notice that actually it is essentially a crest of what looks to be a lion. For you, it detail it is the Lord's Alliance, and it looks like it's a small cape, fit for a child.
Paarth sniffs it over curiously.
As you sniff it over, it does magically attach to you.
That would get Paarth to make a bit of a jump in surprise.
Yeah, as the flopping of the cape and everything, it's just like.
You just see
Yes.
parts just like flailing all over the place, like get off, get off!
This is the same thing as a cat like wandering into a plastic bag then freaking out.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Or like when you toss a cucumber in front of them and they just jump.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem to fit you quite well, and actually provides a little bit of comfort.
Paarth cranes his head to examine it, nosing it all over and looking at it, but seems to settle down after a few moments.
All right. Is there anything else you want to investigate?
Well, let's see what else is in here. Let's see. Got this thing as he sets the rod or staff down, and he goes to look through the rest of the items.
Okay. The next item that catches your eye. I usually roll for it, so give me 1 sec.
I assume I just write down unknown magical cape in my list here.
Just like unknown cape.
Okay.
Okay. So another thing that you do see is a small looking ring with a ruby embedded into it. It does at the kind of like connection point between the ruby and also the ring itself does have a shield that kind of like hones over it. And you can kind of upon closer investigation of the ring, you notice that there is a bit of swirling that is occurring inside of the ring. Yeah. Not that it's filled with anything, but like there is some sort of energy spiraling within it.
Very intriguing. And Vladimir will slowly slip the ring on to see what kind of effects he would feel.
Okay. If you put the ring on, I need you to go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Ah, fuck. All right, let's see.
Wait, what type of armor are you wearing?
It is a studded leather armor.
Go ahead and roll with disadvantage.
Oh. Okay, so
Ruh-roh.
that'll be... No. 1d20 plus that. Okay. It will drop here. And...
Oh, okay. Okay. You do succeed. As you put the ring on, you do feel like your hand kind of goes pins and needles the moment that the ring goes on. As it just feels like there's just a bunch of like, it's kind of like you sat on your hand for like all day and then now you're trying to flex it and move it and do a bunch of stuff. So it's really just kind of uncomfortable. But it does settle, and you notice that there is now a glimmer occurring off of your armor.
Oh. Well.
And
So,
as you kind of
made
like,
armor all shiny.
if you investigate the armor, you might be able to see something a bit different.
Okay, so that'll be another.
Go ahead and roll Arcana for this one.
That is something Paarth can actually help with. Paarth understands magic even if he doesn't understand wordy things.
+2. Okay, so here's
I'll
my
roll
Arcana
independently.
roll. Yeet.
That is a 20 for me, dirty 20.
Vlad has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, the only thing that Vlad, you were able to tell is that as you kind of like, it just kind of still feels like your armor. Nothing really else kind of feels different besides the fact that your hand is still numb a little bit. For you, Paarth, as you were kind of like sniffing up the armor a little bit, you get like a sense of metal that is different than the studs embedded into the leather. And you kind of like poke at it with like your claw, and even the leather portions make a tink noise, almost as if it's been turned metal.
Ah.
But as he kind of shuffles and moves, it doesn't make noise. And there is like a certain smell that does distinctly. How do I put it? It like piques you a little bit, as this is a material that, while it's more than likely not common in the Feywilds, it is something that sparks your memory that you have at least had a familiar sense with an ore like this being used with some particular craftsman in the Fey Courts, and you get the smell of what is it?
Mithril?
Mithril, yes.
Kind of was thinking there. This is something Paarth can actually reference. Paarth looks up to Vlad, and an image of an elf wearing mithril chain-link armor shining in the light is the thought that crosses Paarth's mind.
The general sense then is that this is indicated that this is a ring of mithril. And as you kind of like realize that, the glimmer goes away, as it is no longer in effect. So the ring of mithril is a attunement needed ring that after attuning, the armor that you currently have does get the benefit as if it were crafted with mithril, which you can no longer get hit with a critical attack.
Wow.
Or if you do get hit with a critical attack, it gets dealt as normal damage.
Okay. Yeah.
Though if you are wearing non-metal armor, the effect, instead of it lasting until you take the ring off, it only lasts about a couple moments, as it has to have a direct connection with metal.
Curious.
Interesting.
Ace, I thought it was Adamite that had the no crit. It was the mentor that was the light version.
Nah.
Mithril's light, adamantine is the unbreakable.
Wait, am I wrong about that detail? Mithril does
Yeah,
prevent.
I think that is something that's mixed up there.
Let me double check. If I'm probably gonna rule it anyway because it's funny. Yeah, so mithril armor does prevent if the armor normally imposes disadvantage on stealth checks, it doesn't require that. But this one is special. So I'm still allowing you, or unless you want me to get rid of that benefit, I mean, we can get rid of it.
It's fine.
Just clarifying. Just clarify.
Don't do this to me, guys. Don't do this to me.
It's this. I was just making sure that or the confusion was cleared up is all.
Yeah. So, so how does he activate this and everything?
So it's just by putting the ring on and attuning to it. It does it does show itself and its properties for a split moment, but it's not fully active as per the armor he already has on. So
at this point, Vladimir would catch wind of this and go and start thinking to himself, "Well, looks like I'll need to get myself a set of full metal armor then."
Or anyway,
Yeah.
and then I'm sorry, Paarth, you said you were doing a check. Was that correct?
On Paarth's own cape.
18. You can tell that there's traces of magic being on it. Actually, some abjuration sorts of magic. Let me pull that up too. So.
Abjuration. Which one was abjuration?
Protection.
Ah.
Let me pull up the details for that one too. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. What type of cloak wizard are you? Nope, I don't want to answer that quiz. So the item that you have is known as a cloak of protection.
Yee, I'm not squishy.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and pull up the. Still trying to load the properties for that. So you gain a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws while you wear the cloak, though it does require attunement. So you can wear the cloak right now. You're just not getting the benefit of the AC.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, the Ring of Mithril just negates critical hits.
It negates critical hits so long as you are wearing metal armor.
Right.
That is at least what you won't know of for right now.
Very interesting.
Yeah. When I say like mithril, it's not referring to like specifically like it has the smell of that type of ore. However, there is like a general lore within at least, you know, this campaign that there was a legendary hero that was a elf that, you know, Paarth you were shining an image of, that there was a legendary hero elf by the name of Mithril, or was given the title of Mithril because of he essentially helped stop a demon portal from being opened by being the only person to fight off a horde of demons against it, no matter what sort of onslaught occurred. And the tale goes is that they were the first person to make it to the portal as the portal opened, and since the location of the portal itself was in a giant area, but the demons only had to leave within one specific magical exit, the Mithril stood hold of it as they fought for days defending the exit before their additional party members were able to make it there, along with a massive army, in order to dispel the portal away.
There. That was one well-armored defender there.
Yes. And the only two things that are left in there at this time are the weird device with the lens on it, and also the I think the rod that's pretty much it too, which you took out.
Yeah. So take a look at the lens.
Okay. This lens looks like a monocle, but it's like an adjustable monocle. Though it has more of like the sleek sort of like glasses, like, or like lenses on glasses, where it's not like fully circled. It's more like a rectangle design,
Mm-hmm.
and it's set for the left eye. Connected to it looks to be sets of metal going around it, and along with some like small flashing lights. Primarily one that is blinking red at this time. It does actually also have a kind of weirdly textured cover that's attached to the side of it that looks like an ear. Primarily, it would look actually more like a fox's ear than anything.
Hmm.
And within the interior of the of it, you can see that there is a inscription, like a very finely detailed inscription of a name, and the name is Vicky. V is in Victor, I is in Indigo, C is in Charlie, K is in Kilo, I is in Indigo, E is in Echo. I was close, I know.
Yep.
So the Vicky item's weird.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, Vladimir broaches up to Valkin. He goes, "Hey, Valkin,
Yes.
do you know a name by Vicky, who is a fellow Vulpine by chance?"
Let's see if this name rings any bells.
Out of character, dumb question, but
Mhm.
I'm barely awake today. What was the name of Aknon's wife?
Lynn?
Lynn,
Lynn.
Lynn.
Okay.
not Vicky.
Just thought I'd check. Names don't stick to my head too good.
Yeah. And this is the moment where now I'm going to probably make a bunch of cringy words for Davwyn here, so you'll see, guys.
Let's see here. Would I recognize this in any form or fashion?
The music
Give me-
the music plays in your head. Hey Vicky, you are so icky.
Icky. My shiny teeth in me. Shiny teeth, shiny teeth.
I had to, sorry.
Hey Vicky, you're so fucking grody. Let's see. The name is familiar, but you're not too sure where to exactly pinpoint it at. If you're going to roll for history, it's gonna be a pretty hard check. So,
Alright.
as you don't think you've
give it
met
a roll.
any Vickies. You met Vulpines, but I don't know about Vickies.
Give it a go here. 18.
Yeah, you pass. Okay, I had to double check.
Alright.
Oh, that Vicky.
Oh my god, the Icky Vicky! Let's go! God, she had a pug's face for a Vulpine.
Oh. Oh, the Vulpine with a pug face. Thanks. That's a memory that's going to stick for a while.
That's cringe.
Very.
Anyway, actually, the name Vicky in that spelling, it actually reminds you of a person that worked closely with Dr. Schultz. You always remember that, like, there were a couple of assistants, like mainly medical, like nurses and everything, and assistants that Dr. Schultz had. But there was one that was very particular and different, as she never wore any nurse's clothing. She wore more like artificer gear. Like she always had like tech around her or something like that, and like different metals. And she even had her own little like metal fox as like a defender. And her name is Vicky.
Let's see this.
So
thing.
she probably assisted Dr. Schultz within any experiments, perhaps.
Yes.
take a look at these. As Vladimir hands him the monocle.
I take it there and look at it there, and then hold it up to my face to look through it.
As you try to hold up your face to look through the lens of it and everything, you don't really like get anything off of it.
Here. Curious.
Here, take a look at these two, and I'll take another look at the monocle. As he goes to take the ring off,
There.
and he's gonna hand Valkin the ring in exchange for the monocle to see if he can take a look.
There. All right. I take the ring and pass the monocle. Seems to be perhaps one of Dr. Schultz's assistants there. One of her pieces. I don't know what all it might do. If anything be more than a monocle. I would have to spend a little bit more time analyzing it, I think.
It is a monocle that does attach to the ear, though, from what it looks like.
So, at that point, Vladimir, after doing the exchange with the monocle, he's gonna try and put it on and actually try to attach it to his ear. Judging from okay, this looks like it goes this way.
Okay, as you do that, I'm just gonna quickly bounce over to the information that was on the table before we go ahead and continue, just because I know Nenewza you've been holding on for quite some time. As you investigated through the papers, while all of this discovery in the chest is occurring, immediately there is just confirmation of a lot of things that Clovis has communicated to you guys. Different types of pre-written orders for communication with Gundren about like different mining locations for the map, in addition to where he will be located at, different loggings of times talked with different people for Kragmaw's tribe, in addition to the Red Band Ruffians, and a lot of information does connect with Clovis, and where this doppelganger of Vlad's was in cahoots with both the Kragmaw tribes in addition to the Red Band Ruffians, promising wealth and plenty of resources and supplies, in addition for trade of loyalty. One other thing too that was noticed that you actually see from your investigation, and this would be something that's like very easy to tell too, is you do see a small book containing of the different types of familiars that have been collected and sold off for a high price. And one of them, it says Paarth, set at a price of 5,000 gold pieces.
So apparently the Paarth, that was your last name. Your first name begins with L.
This prompts Paarth to look up, confused about where this is coming from, and makes a confused chirp.
I said, well, this is... She pulls out the book and shows to the group. Take a look at this.
The
What do we
pseudodragon
have
looks at the
here?
paper. It is paper.
Well, what do we have here?
There is additional information documented about Paarth, saying that there was one segment of the summer courts of a section of foresting that was occurring between there and essentially what was a small village that usually occurred with some sort of festival that occurs. that's pretty popular within the Feywilds, and it dictates that there was essentially a warning of, please let's not take this pseudodragon. And there was a notice pretty much attached to it saying, let's give the warning of, try to bring this message out, but eventually it was still brought up the fact that, oh, we should definitely take this pseudo if it's this valuable.
So there was a note written by a different hand that said about don't take the pseudodragon?
That was a general note within that seems to have a similar writing of Clovis. But then there's just kind of other different types of jargon that is in a different handwriting, preferably since this is the Glassstaff's room, then it's probably their writing to have a good assumption of just being like, why is this pseudo so important? Like L potentially Lord, like Prince perhaps as referred to name, ? Just different types of like just general questions as like footnotes to keep in mind.
So by the looks of it, all the other trained familiars were sold off to this Glassstaff guy.
Not entirely. You do see that there are different connections to different sorts of traders, making it the fact that a lot of these familiars that you played with and essentially were trained by were sold as pets to high buyers, like in nobles and such.
Oh.
Something up, Vlad?
Vladimir just kind of stares at the scripture about Paarth for a moment, and just he kind of offers the book out to either of Valkin or Norelor, and just goes, what I just read kind of is a bit saddening for me to see.
Well,
Paarth is tilting his head like far to one side, because to him all he understood from what was said was that his name's written down, which word things.
Vladimir just kind of looks down towards he looks at Paarth with a slight smile on his face, like a reassurance of it's okay. But he does hand the book back over to the side.
Here. That is not. But it may give us a lead as to finding more details about our little friend here.
Da.
Perhaps put that in your bag, Norelor, and we can investigate it more later.
Yes. Agreed. So he puts it in the bag of holding.
Sounds good. Besides that, there is one note that was also shown too, and it's actually a note addressed to a quartermaster at the Harper's facilities, and it reads that this is a resignation notice, indicating that this person's services will no longer be acquainted within their facilities and such, or no longer wanting to work for the Harpers due to a tragedy that occurred, and that they need some time to grieve away from it. And it is signed by Aknon. So it looks like it must have gotten intercepted at some point.
She said, "Oh," she sold it to the group and going, "Oh, this. I don't know how much this will help, but it's something."
Yeah. Besides that, it's just a lot of confirming information about just general plans, with like intercepting Gundren to make it look like that it was not related to Aknon and such, and just some like complicated plan of being able to secure the map safely without any means of interruption. But
That is a bit of interesting written pieces there.
Yep. And with that information being presented, this is when around the time where Vladimir, you would essentially be putting on this, actually attaching the lens to your ear, as it fits like a glove. You see that the you actually feel that while this opening is a bit more like it's more open rather than just kind of like a little slit or so. And so when you put it on, it does form to your ear in a comfortable way, almost like a polyester. And the moment that you put it on, the lens drops, and it turns red. And the one thing you can kind of hear in your ear is just validating. Please keep your eye open.
Okay. As he just holds, you just, everyone else just sees Vladimir just freeze in his spot. Like he just freezes, not even blinks.
Right. Everything okay?
I gotta get my contact in.
Vladimir's just, he carefully holds up a single digit going, hold on, something's happening.
Please keep your keep your eye open. Doing retinal scan. Commencing retinal scan as everyone sees a light, a red light just kind of shoot directly into Vlad's eye as it kind of widens and looks like as if it's scanning the eye itself. And after a second, the light kind of like dwindles and it turns green. It's like, validated user. Welcome, Vladimir.
Paarth is just busy looking at the shiny glass that went from clear to red to green.
Wait, this knows my what?
Of course I know your name. My name is Vicky.
Okay, so is the voice is it only audible to me, or can the rest of...
It's only audible to you as you are like wearing it. You can feel it like reverberating into your ear at like a very like soft tone. And as you get this confirmation, a projected image is set on the bed. It's almost as if it's an illusion itself. I don't have a model for this, unfortunately, so bear with me.
Is the projection visible to everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
The projection is visible as what you see before you is a young female Vulpine. And there's not like too many more details you can see besides she's pretty petite in her size, but she does have some pretty gnarly and bulky like steampunk like armor on. At least to in some degree. And it says the following thing, which can now actually be heard by everybody. Whoa, hey guys! Oh wait, it actually worked. Oh my gosh, I have to tell Schultz about this. Vlad, how are you feeling with the ear? Is everything okay?
Well, I'm a bit taken back as of right now, but it actually feels good. It doesn't feel impairing at all. As his left ear instinctively twitches, like flicks.
Yeah. You see her just kind of frantically grab around at nothing, because there is, it's an illusion. It's like, oh, I have to document this real quickly. Okay, and she pulls out essentially what is a little board with like a pen, like a little quiver and like ink vial, and she's like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable is the ear cover?
Well, I'd say it feels pretty good. So I'd say about the 9.
Okay, 9. Okay, so not as comfortable, but could be better. Number 9. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how clear is the projected illusion in front of you? Does it pertain color? Is it pretty clear? Am I delayed in my voice and such, etc., etc., etc.?
So okay, out of character. What is this illusion, this projection, is it full scale color? You know,
The so the illusion itself is within a transparent like cyan slash like bit like brighter blue. So that's really only color that is persisting, though the specific details of the illusion are pretty. There's a lot of detail that is showing, at least for like the different like kinks and bolts that are on her like armor that's showing, even like with her like dipping something that's outside of reach. You can see that there is occasional drip and drops of like ink that's supposed to be on there. The only thing that's not visible is color, as it's just one single color.
okay. Well, the details I could say is about the 10. Although your coloration is still a bit is more like a bright blue, but I can see all details. Like I could see ink dripping off of your quill. As for voice, you sound pretty spot on. I do not see any kind of delay between voice and movement.
Okay, good. We could definitely don't know how we can get color on illusion, but we'll figure that out, I suppose. And then final question is this. Have you done the reunion yet?
No. No reunion has happened.
You haven't?
No. I've came across other other duplicants, but no reunion has happened.
Here, give me one moment. You see that she kind of like she jots down some information quickly and like frantically just like puts stuff down, and you see that she's like swiping at stuff and typing and such. Or like at least just like putting her like fingers on different things. And you see and you hear something at least within the lens. It's like full scale retinal examination begins. Keep your eye open, please.
And seeing Paarth just looking back at Vlad cautiously, Paarth can see that Vladimir is just as confused.
Here.
I think that she thinks that he's a different Vlad.
Go ahead.
I said, yes, he's going. Norelor is going. He thinks he's the quote original one, doesn't he?
Did you say this out loud?
It was in our head.
Oh.
Yeah. I walk up to the bedside area to where I'm close to the image, but also now within Vladimir's sight there, and look to see if Vicky gives any sort of response to my presence.
As she like kind of types and everything and looks to the side, she's like, "Oh, hey, Valkin." Just like not like really like paying much attention, just but
There's-
notices you're there.
There's also a pseudodragon at her feet at the moment too.
Doesn't really pay much attention as she's typing of her own stuff, and you see that she's pretty heavily focused. Do you allow the retinal scan to go through again, Vladimir?
Yeah, because he doesn't know what's going on.
Okay. So you keep your eye open again, and this time literally a disarray of different colors flashes in your eyes. From shades of red to purple, green, like a light blue, as just every ounce of your eye is fully like detailed.
Cartography.
Yeah, cartographied. Yeah, pretty much in the best way of putting it. And the next thing that happens is that the light stops and it flashes red this time.
Really? Here. Vicky, are you quite done?
She kind of stops for a sec once the result hits. It's like, you're the fifth one, aren't you? You're not him, right?
There.
I am number 5.
Okay. Well, this is definitely taking a weird turn. Okay. God, this is not good. Oh.
Vicky.
Okay. How did you find this? I gave it specifically to him for communication.
Well, funny story actually. Apparently, the one you are looking for is not here for whatever reason. And this was found in a chest in a private room that was left to us by, well, the bandits that had taken over here.
Vlad can just see Paarth tense up as Vlad was deciding what name to drop there, and suddenly like his little cackles go down as soon as he said bandits.
She kind of like looks towards like you specifically, Paarth. It's just like, oh, okay. Well, you were not the intended person to get this, but to be honest, I'm glad you did. You probably wouldn't know much about me, but I work directly with Dr. Schultz on his inventions. Since you know, at least you said that you've defect number 5, I assume that you know about the other versions of yourself at this time? Dr. Schultz is trying to get you to go back to being one person. To make it more precise, we were trying to create one version of you. Though, it just kept failing and failing, but there was always one connection between each of you, and that was some way of tracking one another, like a predator. But you, we specifically documented you because you were different, as she like kind of like grabs like a bunch of papers and it's just like flickering through a little bit. It's like, you're different. You don't have that predatory like disarray that affects like your humane side. I'm not gonna drabble with the details, but what you have is essentially Vicky. myself. And that is a virtually integrated communication knowledge-based infrared exadata, aka Vicky. It's a way for you to communicate with people in addition to display information, search for information, all of that. Though I did a full diagnostic scan of the one you have, and it's looking like it's lost a lot of information. So you're pretty limited of what you could do.
Okay, then how do we go about restoring that?
That's the issue. I can't really restore it until I have it directly in my hands. And I don't really know what's going on over there, but I do know that if Dr. Schultz said that if you were the one to first get this before he did, it means there's a lot of trouble going on.
Yes.
Duh.
I mean, go on. That's a bit of an understatement.
Do you have any idea what has been happening outside of your little lab, Vicky?
I don't, unfortunately. I was only instructed by Dr. Schultz to create this device and try and send it over. That's really all that's been going on, but yeah. I wish I knew more about the situation that's going on.
Then good.
And let me guess, you're back at Homeland, duh?
That's correct.
Oof.
Right now the doctor is out getting his special meals. Getting that created right now, so I've got a little bit of time to talk, and I'll let him know that you called, but since apparently he knows a bit more than I do.
Well, there is quite a lot, Vicky, and some of it is rather disturbing. And the way Dr. Schultz's experiments has been running amok.
Are you gonna tell her the full story?
Yeah, I'm leaning into it. They're gauging her reactions.
Well, I just want to know because I'm running out of time here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And for all extents and
we
purposes,
can-
we'll just document,
Yeah.
say whatever you want to say for it.
Yeah, no, just kind of gauging her reactions there, and then if they are genuine, then yeah, just kind of say that I said the full story.
Well, I don't know if right now is the best time to, say the story at all, because he could be back at any moment. But what I will say is I just want to ask a couple questions to Vlad, if that's okay.
Go on.
Vlad, have you been experiencing any particular marks on your body?
So funny you should mention that.
Yes, funny you mentioned that. I do have mark on lower back.
Is it like a dark opalish sort of color that resembles a little signet? Okay, that's even worse than I thought I was gonna be. Okay. And I guess that just answers what I need. So let me give you a little bit of reason as to why I'm kind of trying not to freak out right now. The process that we used for our program was something that was simulacrum based, aka taking information and trying to essentially clone something. Since we didn't have a particular person to exactly go off of, so the process made it a lot harder. As for Dr. Schultz, we were going off of a concept. In this case, things went really south because we messed up on our formula a little bit, and so instead of having everything connected just and fine between one person, it got separated based off of the most dangerous attributes of each of them, creating 5 people instead of 1.
Hmm. At that point, Vladimir just pauses, going, "Well, if that's the case, then that makes me wonder what would be dangerous part of me." As he says this with a sly, like a sly smirk.
Well, it's primarily off of the expertise we wanted to focus upon. Close quarter combat, use of general melee weapons, ranged weapons, primarily gunmanship, and killer intent. We wanted to make sure that you had a good amount of humanity attached to you, and so we presented standard morals of what it meant to be a standard guard, you know, knowing who to protect, who to take care of, but we could never figure out how to program the more complex emotions, such as deep care for people and other sorts. And as such, it broke up your only big personal ones. For you, you should be able to have more of morality than the rest of them. In fact, all of the morality.
Well, ain't that the fucking truth? So far, the other ones I've seen are a bit reckless.
But here's where we need to really make sure that what happens next is carefully analyzed. Things did not go well when the rest of them woke up. The moment that our second one woke up, he almost killed everyone in the castle. And Vulcan, this is when you were gone for like a vacation or something like that, or a business trip or whatever with your father. But
that was years ago.
exactly. And from then they escaped. The only one that really didn't escape was you, Vlad. The one that stayed. It's because you didn't wake up until days after. However, you did help us rebuild. And that's why I want to help you get past this. I know how to get yourself reborn with them. And it's you by taking control of them is how it's going to work. And that is where we'll end our session.
Wow.
Aw, shit!
Well,
Another
that was
freaking
quite
cliffhanger.
that was quite the story session there.
Yeah, I got nervous, honestly, because I was like, I don't know if this will make sense. Because it is really weird, but like, backstory stuff
Well,
is all weird.
well, I'm
Yeah.
tracking it pretty well here.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the
Hopefully-
video about your notes about Paarth because I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Well, hopefully, everyone in the audience was able to follow along. And if you got any questions or comments there, throw them in now. That way, we can kind of take a look there and maybe have some answers for you either now or in the near future.
Yeah, this is
Maybe.
becoming a very spicy chili.
The
Yes,
truth is revealing a bit more. It's a weird fucking truth, but it's revealing.
Kind of puzzly.
There. Yep. All right. So, let's see here. While you guys are posting up any questions there, Ace can kind of take a look in chat since he's the DM and everything there, and I'm going to go find us someone to raid on off to.
Paarth walks around. I'm Lord Paarth. I don't know what a lord is, but I'm a lord.
It's like the singer, right? Lord.
Oh, lordy lord.
Great. Vlad has 2 little princes to worry about.
This one is in a cool way, like a really cool way though. I think the more you figure out though, at least Paarth, of like why you're being referred to as a prince, I think you're really gonna appreciate it. So
There. All right.
Especially considering that one's bonded to him via, you know, the familiar bit, and the other is attached to him via oath. So it's
Mad
like,
science.
it's like, oh, this ought to be fucking good.
Right. Right.
By the
yeah,
way, I was so tempted to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you at all. I was like going to like say when you're doing the backstory for Dr. Schultz, I was going to say Dr. Schultz started off his career by selling popular magical inserts for shoes that gave people the spell freedom of movement. They said it was, they said they were gelling.
I had such a similar thought. Schultz?
Schultz?
Can you imagine he started his career by like enchanting people's shoes with the spell freedom of movement, you know, where you ignore terrain difficulties?
Yeah. Magically gives them expeditious retreat.
Right.
Oh, that was even better. I was just thinking of freedom of movement. The one that gets rid of rough terrain.
Yeah, either way.
Basically, your shoes like that make all surfaces regarded as normal terrain.
Yeah.
All
right.
So that was a lot of info dump this session, but we figured out a lot of stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I mean, you investigated, so that's good. And that's.
By the way, Paarth really wants to stick his snout in that corner of the room.
Oh, stick it through the illusion, you mean?
The illusionary fox that he was like pawing at constantly.
Just wasn't reacting at all.
Yeah, and Ace was like rightfully ignoring him. But also, I can see the impression of a door in that wall, and Paarth really wants to see it.
The impression in the door? Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's an impression in the wall where I can see a door frame.
And we still have to get the bards out of the jail cells, but that might be a lot easier when seeing back to being disbanded.
You don't know if there's any jail cells down here, so.
True.
All right.
Well, jail cells do tend to have bards.
True.
Aww.
Bruh.
All right. So, do you have any parting words for us there, Ace?
Yes. So hopefully we should be able to go ahead and continue with a normal schedule on Sundays. At 25th, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
You mean the 2nd, because tomorrow's the 18th. The 25th is game 2 for most of us. So that you mean July the 2nd.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because we would actually have it on. We were supposed to have it tomorrow, but it's Father's Day tomorrow. So
yes. So July the 2nd, everybody.
Yes, July 2nd for a next session. And a little more action should be jam-packed into that, hopefully, and we'll see how the party prevails with that. I'm excited to see how y'all kind of figure out where to go from here.
Yes.
Yeah, because the goal is that there was supposed to be a lot of information dropped at this point to give you answers for what you've been looking for. So,
and hopefully we'll be able to catch back up with our sorcerer wannabe magician. Or
yes, because he'd be crying over these last 2 rooms we're in. He's like, information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of catching up to do with him once they meet up again.
Because magical items, books on potion making materials.
Yes.
Library.
We're definitely going to be stuffing that bag of holding full.
Oh yeah.
We're like a whole bunch
Oh,
of people without the ability to taste sugar, walking around a candy store going, it's a nice store. Meanwhile, he's outside the glass going, let me in!
Oh,
Let me
now,
in.
for some reason, I just have this random thought of after the ruffians get disbanded and scattered to the winds, someone's gonna walk up to us and goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, you know that manor that you guys just crawled out of? Yeah, we're gonna give that to you."
The
I'm sorry,
completely
what?
destroyed one.
The completely destroyed one that's not really functional.
And has a lot
Yeah.
of interesting spells applied to things.
Mm-hmm.
And also a huge, like, massive, like, cavern that is just, like, literally an instant death to a lot of people. Like,
Hey, Death Pit!
Death Pit, which one of the two bridges is now destroyed.
I thought both of them were
Yep.
destroyed. This one was more usable than the other right now.
One of them
Right,
was
one's half
purposefully
broken.
destroyed, yeah.
Yeah, one's completely destroyed, the other one's half broken.
Yeah.
Which means a lot of these guys, when they're trying to leave, are going to be like, walk up to that bridge going, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't warn that guy about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised that you guys didn't investigate the staff, though, honestly.
Well, we hadn't gotten around to that.
Yeah, it was on the to-do list.
Well, it's like
Yep.
it's like the only thing that really well, the biggest thing was that Vladimir was looking at it going, "Oh, it's a collapsible staff. That's cool."
Yeah, we have to look at the staff and the Vicky ring still.
Well, so the ring it's a ring of mithril. So the ring itself,
I
when
thought
you
there were two rings. Okay.
no, it's just one ring. So it's one ring, then it's the cape, the Vicky, and then there's also the staff. Which I'll tell you what the staff is right now, because you'll more than likely take time to investigate it anyway, and I'd rather have it be just discussed now than later. You know.
Okay.
So within a general investigation, which actually Breaker, you would be able to feel a connection to the Eldritch as you feel the staff. It is actually a rod of the Pact Keeper.
Ooh.
So
What the-
it is a +1 staff, requires attunement by a warlock, and so it's going to do two things for you. So number one, it's going to give you a +1 bonus to your spell attack modifier plus your DC. In addition, once per long rest and as an action, you can recover a warlock spell slot.
Ooh.
That is a really powerful item.
It is. That's why I'm only making it a +1.
Mm-hmm. All right, so +1 staff, and it also gives +1 to DC and attack mod.
Yeah, that's correct.
There, and once per long rest.
And as an action,
Utilizing an action, can recover a warlock spell slot.
yep.
There. All right. Okay. I will definitely have to investigate that stuff more on the next time here. But for now, we will see all of you on hopefully on Sunday, July 2nd there, and. It'd be a good kind of kickoff for those of us in the U.S. there, the 4th of July Independence Day weekend.
Oh.
And we hope to see you there.
I better bring some fireworks to the next session. So,
Absolutely.
Take care.
Yes.
but yep, hope to see you guys later. And then, unless if any of like between Breaker and Aeros, like if you're alive between those times or so, hopefully to see you next time then. So
All right. See y'all in. And we are going to be raiding on off to Varric the Doom Marine. So when you get there, the message is going to be the shadows have come to play. And see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
all right, see you later.